Did any of you in that downtime consist of snuggling up with your furry best friend? Well, were you guys also outdoors enjoying a hike or a walk? We know that those are popular activities to do with your pet, but y'all, we want to make sure that you do it safely. So I welcome Jessica Davis. She is a pet tech, CPR, and first aid instructor and dog trainer. You deal with a lot of pet behavior, Jessica,
yes.
But I know that while we're exploring San Antonio during the summer, I do it with my dog all the time, rivers, lakes, there's some common items that we use during this time that may be hazardous to them.
Yes, so one of the things we have to look at, DEET is one thing that is actually toxic to animals, and that's going to be found in sprays for insects. Citronella is another thing you might not realize. It's actually really aversive to pets. If you are going to use citronella, it is more of a natural insecticide. Or insect repellent, make sure that you dilute. Dilute. It's going to be the biggest thing.
Y'all, this is Diego. He's so happy to see you guys. And we're going to demonstrate something really important in just a bit with him.
Yes.
But also sunscreen, you were saying? Like, I have sunscreen. You know, we all have sunscreen, so.
Well, one thing you actually have to check for pet-friendly sunscreens. So there are actually sunscreens that will be hazardous to animals.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you want to check, make sure to check the label, but also you can go onto the ASPCA. There's an app that you can download, have it right in your pocket to see what's toxic, what's not, and just to kind of get an idea for what we can use. Hi, Diego.
Great resource to
and
have. Diego, you are just very interactive. So he says, Mom, let's talk about why I'm here. Diego is here because while those hazardous items and materials and chemicals, definitely good to keep in mind, you know, it's very possible that your pet could get injured on a hike, if you're swimming somewhere, even maybe just on a regular walk in your neighborhood.
Yeah, so one of the things we talk about in our pet CPR first aid class is going to be first aid, and also too, just the hands-on. So this is actually one of the only hands-on classes that are in our area. Most of them are online. So we go over things like pet CPR, first aid, so if God forbid he goes down, what to do in that situation, assess the situation, and then how to be hands-on and really determining him.
Okay, and you brought up a really great point that, you know, if a dog is injured and you're trying to help them, they might want to bite just out of defense, right?
So one of the things we work on, this is where Diego comes in, is we really give him lots of cookies for this because it's really something that could be very uncomfortable, a dog's not comfortable, or that's not comfortable with.
Sure.
Is muzzling. So one of the things we want to make sure that they get comfortable with, and this is a skill that you guys can teach your dogs no matter what the situation. Muzzling is actually a really good skill for any dog to have in case of emergency, but also too in case they're scared. Any dog that is in pain or will be going in to be moved into pain can and will bite.
Okay, so if you have something like that, you recommend?
To tie it around, and we're going to loop it under. So this is going to be a safety thing to prevent him from biting me in case, God forbid, something happens where all of a sudden his leg is hurt. He has no way of telling me, hey, get away from that. So this is a way that we can utilize this. So this is one of the hands-on skills, and you can use this with a leash. We use this. This is one of the materials that you'll get actually in the class. And then, of course, dealing with a dog doing this versus just a stuffed animal is a whole different ballgame.
Yes, definitely. Diego, I'm so sorry that we're testing you out, but good boy, good boy. He's so sweet. Well, with that, thank you so much, Diego, for being with us. But CPR, I would not know where to start with my Felix boy, man. He is something else. And of course, when you are in that flight or fight or what are you gonna do? You gotta act, so you're gonna teach me a little bit.
One of the things that we do is the primary pet assessment, which is you have to do it within 12 seconds before you actually do the CPR. You need to be able to determine if the dog is in need, what's going on, if they'll recover, any of that. Once you do that, then we do the CPR.
Okay.
Now, when we do that, of course, how the dog falls will determine based on, actually we can take that down so you can see it better.
Great.
Now, we use these actually for the class because you'll feel how stiff it is.
Yes.
So you're gonna feel it, so say, okay, our dog goes down, how to handle it.
Okay.
So we're always gonna be behind them. We do our primary pet assessment.
I'll watch you first, and then I'll try to do this.
So we're gonna put our fist like this, and we're gonna have it face down. And the reason why we're gonna put this down is because you wanna make sure you're filling in the gap. When you fill in the gap, especially if you have big dogs, you might not be able to use two hands for this, so it's okay to do this for the smaller dogs, even Diego.
Okay.
Now from here, this is the ratio, so we do 30 compressions, 2 breaths.
So for them, it's on the side, not on the chest as a human.
So this would be how we would have the handling part. So I'm gonna have you do that, and then I want you to just do like just 5 compressions.
Okay.
We'll do flat palm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Imagine doing that for 2 minutes consecutively.
Oh my.
Yes.
Is it kind of like, you know, staying alive?
It's
they
a lot
say that?
faster.
Okay.
A lot
faster than that. Okay, for the doggies. And then Should we be aware of their head positioning at all? Or?
Not at the moment. It really depends on how they fall. Now, you did bring up a question as far as how they fall if they're like barrel chested. So I have a bully, so a very big bully at home. And so for him, he would be more equal chest from here to the top to bottom as it would be side to side. So his compressions would be a little bit different.
Okay.
So when you're trying to get to the heart.
So you hold him from the bottom then?
So what happens is his body will really fall flat, and so you would push down.
Okay.
And if you have like Great Danes or one of the larger breeds, then you might have to do 2 hands. So we go through all of the hands-on of what you're dealing with, and we also talk about cats, and we also talk about small animals like Chihuahuas and various others. So.
And my Felix, he's a rat terrier dachshund.
Yep.
He's a little mix there, but thank you so much for all this information. I know you're offering 10% off these classes, right?
Yes.
How can people get a hold of that?
Go to our website, arfordabledogtraining.com. You can send us, you can call us, reach out to us. We can get you directed to the website. We're giving 10% off for anybody who mentions this promo. And we have a class in June 11th. So
Perfect.
love to see you.
Jessica, very helpful. Diego, you are so sweet and precious. I hope you never get injured. Y'all, the pet love does not stop there. We